Hi guys, Michael here. Just thought I'd give you an update on my bike. A lot's been happening with it since I last showed it to you. Now, as you can see, I have this great big battery here. I sent off to EM3 EV in China, Paul there, and got that one. That's a 30 amp hour. And boy, does it really do the job. It's pretty good. Yeah, as far as distance goes, if I put my motor on full power, it'll go 60 kilometers for that battery capacity, which is pretty good. I intend to get a rack, but and chuck another probably 20 amp hours on there just to give you a nice round figure. But at the moment, I'm running it at 1/3 the power, and that baby will last me about 120 k's. So that's pretty good, and that's no pedaling. I hate pedaling, so you know how it goes. If you don't have to do it, why would you? So there we go. Now, since you last saw it, I've changed my brake setup here. They look pretty similar, and they are the same model, but what I had the stuck-on sensors for hydraulic brakes from Bafang, and they're just shite. Eventually one of them stopped working altogether, and then the other one was playing up, so I thought, oh bugger it, I'll get something a bit better. Now these here, you might see, have the sensors all the way embedded in there. Now there's a screw in here which the guy's replaced with a magnetic screw. And he's put a little sensor in there, and he sells these. I got them through Passion Bikes, and they work really well. So they're as good as Magura or anything else like that. I don't think you'll get better. And not only that, for the pair, including the whole setup, was $100. So you can't go wrong at that price. That was just brilliant. Loved it. It was great. Oh, I ended up replacing my top nuts up here, which I said were rusting out at the time, so I put some little red ones in there, little flashy points. So as you can see now, some of the things that I think people should know is that I've got my cassette down here. Now that's all steel, so that's really tough. I've found that just occasionally when you shift, sometimes the shift sensor doesn't work the best, and you get a little bit of power in there and it pulls on it. So you need that toughness. Aluminium is too brittle. It'll snap eventually if it's aluminium. So steel seems to be doing the job really well. Now, I've done approximately 2,000 k's on that, and it's doing really well. I took a recommendation from one of the online snow riding bikers called Carl, and yeah, his specification for riding in snow is what I've done for this to make it really tough. So it really works. Now I've got my marathon tyres too, which are really good, Schwabe marathon tyres. Now these are the puncture proof ones, and they don't stop punctures. Yeah, it's all really well and nice to advertise that fact, but what happens is that because it's extra thick here, you do get things stick in, and it does take a little while for them to work their way through, but they will work their way through and suddenly you get a flat. So what I've done is I bought some tyre liners, and these ones look a bit like extra thick magic tape. They're not the clear ones that most people use, and they're really ultra light and they're really tough, and I haven't had a puncture ever since putting them in. And this baby, occasionally I will check, I'll give the wheel a spin and I'll check it for embedded twigs. So there you go. Now also what happened is that my back mudguards here seems to be the weak point in them. Through lots of wobbling back and forth, the other one here, the brace, very cheap metal that they'd used in there, and it ended up breaking. So I ended up super gluing it. There you go, I just stopped it for that guy over there. He said a quick hello and rode on his way. But yeah, the mudguards, here we go. Now these mudguards here, this metal here is a little bit thicker, so these should last a little bit longer. I don't think they're as stylish as the others, but, well, horses for courses, isn't it, really? So, yeah, and otherwise, the bike's going really well. There's not much to complain about. I got my gear shifter here after 3 weeks, so paying it to be delivered early didn't do me any favours at all. So I think it was really just standard delivery, and they got a few extra dollars for what they were wanting. So yeah, and that's basically it. Now, one of the things that I did note is that in these triangle bag setups, instead of having it sit in the middle, you have to have it a bit off-centered there, because you've got your power that seems to go into the back of the triangle here, and it's dead set in the middle. So you have to sit it out so you don't crush the wire. Bit silly that, why the guys don't put it off-center, I don't know, but you'd think that that would only be sensible. But never mind, I've found in this industry that sensibility just ain't happening. And another thing is that I'd broken one of my nuts that hold my engine down here. Thing is I took it into a guy and I got him to drill it out and replace the nut. So that's all sitting in there firmly. And he said I needed to check it anyway because I didn't use any lock nut. And it had all come a bit loose down here. So that's all re-tightened up, and that was cool. That was done by Matt at Cargo Bikes in Brunswick, and he's really good. He's a good guy. He'll look at anything. He's technically enabled, and this is where my bike is mostly going for everything that it needs. So I think that wraps it up, guys. I'm really out here and it's nice out here because this is my favourite place. Free park bench, middle of nowhere. And the other thing that I think you should be aware of is sometimes councils make the worst choices. This here is the stone that they've put down on this trail, which people ride, and it's just too big and it's really sharp. So it's dreadful. I think the council probably deliberately didn't want people to ride on this trail, so they've used this huge rock, and it's just shite. But because of being nice, tough tyres, they can handle it. I just feel a bit nervous occasionally when you go through deeper areas here, and you slip a bit sideways. But anyhow, I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to go for a ride up there in my favourite park, which I'm glad I've finally found someone after months on end who also uses it. Okay guys.